heard three gunshots.
We also don't
Pop,
have
pop, pop, straight in the row.
how long
About 3 seconds later, there were 4 more gunshots.
Chaos and carnage in the nation's capital. 13 people are dead after a shooting at the Washington Navy Yard. It's a story that's been going on for 9 hours now, and it is still developing. We've been bringing you the latest details on the Navy Yard shooting since the story broke during Wavy News 10 on Fox 43 this morning.
And this just into the newsroom at 5, a picture of the man authorities call the suspect in this case. He's 34-year-old Aaron Alexis, a contractor originally from Texas. Alexis was shot and killed by police. The gunfire all began around 8:20 this morning, just before work. Police just updated the number of dead to 13, and that includes the person who pulled the trigger.
Officers are searching for another possible gunman wearing a military-style uniform. Right now, there is no known motive, but at this moment, it is not believed to be an act of terrorism. We have team coverage from Art Kohn in Washington, D.C. and Aaron Kelly here in Hampton Roads. Stephanie Harris is also gathering information in the newsroom.
Well, we're going to go to the scene in Washington, D.C. now, and Art Kohn. Art?
Yeah, Tom, we are literally standing just across the street from the main entrance into the Washington Naval Yard. Photojournalist Aaron Kurtz giving you a look inside there. You can see it's still a very active crime scene in there with all kinds of both Metro Police and Capitol Police, as well as military police, NCIS investigators coming in and out of there. Also, while we're in there, I'm going to ask Aaron if he can show you Building 197 where the shooting took place. If you see the beige looking building with the windows facing straight at us just beyond and in beside the red brick buildings, that's Building 197, and that's about 100 yards from where we are right now where this took place. Now, let me give you a couple of things that we have learned here just recently. I know I heard just a minute ago we talked about that police could still be looking for another shooter. Well, I think they may be starting to back off of that position now, because what we have heard is that the other possible gunman, I say possible gunman, that was ID'd with a military uniform and a beret carrying a handgun, we're told that police have made contact with that individual and he has been ruled out as any kind of a suspect involved with this. But another thing that I think that's keeping this an ongoing scene here is the fact that we know that there were 12 victims of the gunman, and so as far as I know, many of those victims may still be inside. We saw someone from the medical examiner's office pull out of there just a few minutes ago, so certainly that's another thing that's keeping that whole area shut off. Now, one other thing that we are noticing, though, is more and more employees are starting to be released from the yard. We've seen a big group of them come out just a few minutes ago, and about an hour ago when we were in our other position across the street, one came out and we had to speak with him, a young petty officer from the Navy who told us what it was like in there this morning in the building that he was in about 100 yards away.
Everybody was didn't treat it lightly. You know, we knew something serious was going on, and we had to let things play out. And so we had TVs and we were watching the news just like everybody else, and that was, you know, a good source of information for us to get a sense of what was going on.
Were you at what point were you able? I heard you were talking about your wife. At what point were you able to communicate with her and let her know that, hey, I'm okay?
All day before the police came. You know, I was walking back to my building and somebody said, hey, there were shots fired on base, and I got inside and I kind of thought about it, and I said, wow, you know, this is a Navy base and there were shots fired. This is going to be, she's probably going to hear about it before I get in touch with her. So I talked to her and told her, you know, I'm all right. You're probably going to hear about this on the news. And then it started coming out how serious of an event this was.
Yeah, and just how serious this is. You know, to put it in some perspective for you, we know that there are 13 dead here, including the gunman. This is the worst single incident for a single loss of life incident in Washington, D.C. since 1982, and that was when we had the Air Florida airliner crash into the Potomac. We're going to stay on top of this, and we'll continue to update you through the 90 minutes of the news. Reporting live from outside the Washington Naval Yard, Art Kohn, 10 on your side.